Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of InRange. This is probably, maybe, the most highly awaited video of our entire InRangeTV career.
Sure.
Let's just say that. Ever since we did the now infamous AKM mud test and AR-15 mud test, the original ones, we revisited the ARs with Vietnam era Colt SP1.
Yep.
And proved the AR continued to function as we expected it would. And we are now out here with an AK74, which is a Bulgarian Arsenal SLR104.
Awesome freaking AK.
Awesome one. This is the one I won the Red October light category with. So this is that rifle. And you have what is maybe the most well-manufactured AK variant there is.
Of all time. A Valmet M76.
A Finnish gun.
Yes.
So you know what? Someone out there is going to say these are fake AKs, but you know what? They're also on the higher end of the fake AK line. So we'll go with that.
So that's where this comes from, is when we did the first AK mud test, we were doing it with a Romanian parts kit built in the US, and continue to maintain that this makes absolutely no difference to how the gun performs. It just doesn't. AK is an AK is an AK. However, of the 1.8 million people who have currently watched that video, I think about 1.7 million of them have made comments about how we're not using the right AK, and if we use the right AK, it would work great. And usually the right means Russian.
It means whatever their particular proclivity is towards. For example, we see comments, that's crap, it's Chinese. Well, obviously you didn't watch the video because we said it was Romanian. Then someone will say, why didn't you use a quality Chinese one? So in like one quote away, or one comment away, one guy's saying Chinese is the quintessential quality AK, and then one comment down, someone's calling the test we did erroneously a crap Chinese AK.
Now here's the thing, we don't have access to a Russian AK, not a military one. We could get a Russian commercial AK, it's called a Saiga, pretty easily available here. But I'm sure a lot of people would tell us that that is commercial and therefore crap. Again, it is an AK. It's all going to be the same, I suspect.
However, in the U.S. market, the Bulgarian Arsenal guns are considered on the high end, and the Finnish Valmet, my God.
Well, and here's the more important thing. This reputation that the AK has managed to get of being this unstoppable behemoth of a gun comes from all the places where the AK is used in combat. And not many of those actually use Russian guns. If you look at North Africa, if you look at Vietnam, if you look at the Middle East, if you look at everywhere that combatants have been using AKs, they're mostly, probably the most common ones are Chinese, Hungarian, Romanian, there's some Russian, but usually those guns are coming from other Warsaw Pact states that were exporting guns for profit, not Russian. So the idea that the Russian gun is the one that everything should be based on, even if we accept that the Russian is somehow better than all the others, which I don't accept, it still doesn't make sense because the Russian gun is not the one that built the reputation.
Fair enough. Now we do have some differences here. This is a 74, which is in 5.45.
Yep.
And we have seen, for example, with the G3 series of rifles, that the 308 didn't do quite as well as the 5.56, and we guessed that it might have something to do with bolt velocity. Now, bolt velocity in a delayed roller gun isn't really the same thing as bolt velocity in an AK variant. But who knows? Maybe the 5.45 gun or the 5.56 Valmet.
Yep, this is a 5.56. I'm using good steel or a good brass cased ammo. It's not underpowered steel.
And I'm using, of course, the appropriate crap steel 5.45 because that's what you use in a 5.45 gun.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you, there's one lesson I did learn from our AK and AR-15 series of videos, and it's not whether one will work or not. I've learned that the general audience that watches this content has an irrational, emotional attachment to a mechanical device, and that they quantify devices and think that devices are more important than skill.
Or anything else.
Or anything else. The point is, and I've done a lot of stuff, competition shooting with ARs, AKs, every variant of everything you can think of, and the reality is shooter skill trumps all to a point. An AK and an AR can both keep up, and the reality is you need to stop having an emotional attachment to a gun and have a more emotional attachment to your own skill set.
Yes.
But that's neither here nor there, that's a different video. Let's get going with the mud test.
Yeah, all right, we're going to do them both. Carl, you're up first with the 74.
Let's do it. Ready? All right, so we're going to go ahead and fire a couple rounds clean to make sure that the gun works. Now we know this works. I won Red October with it, but let's see what happens. As expected, 5 rounds, not a surprise. Let's go ahead and do our thing. Arsenal Bulgarian gun, guys. Oh, Russian Plum magazines too, not crap mags. Russian Plum. That's bad. This shouldn't matter, but we'll get both sides.
Nothing says fun like digging mud out of a Russian scope mount.
Oh, God. I didn't even think of that. All right, here we go. Safety's off. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Now,
A lot of mud in there.
there is, and that was surprisingly good result. Now, this is one of the things that's interesting. We can remud it with the dust cover closed, or we can do what we did with the AR-15, which was we tested it first with the cover closed and with the cover open. Let's go ahead and do one more time with the cover closed to be very thorough, and then we'll go to what is got to be an inevitable failure, but let's find out. Let's just go.
I don't think there's any need to do it on the other side.
Okay, one failure. Failure to go into battery. I'm going to run the action. Eject it around. Not in battery. Run around.
Can you push it forward?
No, I cannot. Failure to eject. Now we're in battery. Except we did not feed around. We're not feeding. All right, I'm going to take that first round out. Clean some of that off. You see that?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put it back in. Failure to feed. Failure to eject. Stuck chamber. All right, I'm going to mortar this. Got it out. I'm going to try and run the action without a mag in it. Try and clear out some of this out with my finger. That looks better. Grab the mag. Reinsert. Not in battery. And we're stuck.
Switch to your other mag.
I'm going to switch to the other mag after I mortar this. All right, I do have a clean mag in my kit here. Just for these contingencies, guys. Russian always comes prepared, right? Not in battery. It's not the mag. All right, I'm going to try and clean some of this out. I'm just doing it with my hands. We're going into battery without a round. See that?
Yep.
Okay. Clean mag. It's a clean ammunition. No, something must be in the chamber. Let's open this up. Yeah, all right. I'm going to keep trying.
I think you got one more try, and then definitely something is in the chamber. Yeah. Yeah, something's preventing the rounds from fully seating.
We are done. This did better than the 7.62x39 Romanian AK. However, this is an SLR104 545, one of the top of the line AKs in the United States, Bulgarian gun. And while we did get through the very first iteration of the mud test, when we remudded it again with the dust cover closed, not open, failure. Very similar, actually a little worse than the 7.62x39. I can't even beat it into battery. Something's in here, we're done. What happens is, just like with the 7.62x39 Romanian gun, once mud gets into these locking lug recesses or on the bolt or in this action here, you're done. The gun's done. And this open action of the AK has a proclivity to allowing that stuff to get into the action. Let's go ahead and go on to the fabled and what should be best quality possible finished Valmet.
Good. Yep. What kind of man would willingly dump his awesome Valmet in the mud? Well, I would, apparently. Run a few rounds just to show that it does, in fact, function. So Valmet, of course it functions. Safety on. And here we go. I'm sorry, Finland. This side shouldn't matter, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, I don't need to rock test it. All right. So far, so good.
Pretty good.
Let's do a second run. Safety still engaged. The safety on the Valmet is definitely stiffer than most AKs I've shot. I suspect it is a little bit of a tighter seal. Now I'm having the same problem. It took a little longer to get there. What are we at? 8 rounds now, I think?
I believe so.
All right, so I can see that there's mud on the face of the chamber there.
Not in battery.
Nope.
Wow, that's identical.
Huh, it's almost like they're the same gun.
Oh, the same design, even almost the same cartridge, because 545, you know, 7.62 by 39, well, that's different, but 545, 556, both small bore cartridges.
All right, so what's going on here, and it's, I don't know if there's any way to see it for you guys.
Turn it this way, the other way.
Well,
there you go.
It is, this locking recess down here has mud in it.
Okay, can you clean it out?
I'm gonna try. The one up here is fine. It's the one down in the bottom that isn't. I'm trying not to smash more in there.
Will it go into battery without a round?
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right. The magazine's actually pretty good.
That is identical to the Bulgarian SLR104.
It is.
It will not chamber a round. It'll close without a round.
I try it again?
Yep. Nope.
I'm trying to wipe off everything that I can access here. But, you know, the fact that it will close without a cartridge makes me think that what we've done is get something up inside the chamber.
That is identical.
Yeah. All right, so it went through the first set, and then either 3 or 4 rounds. I kind of lost count on the second before it's toast, and that was with the dust cover closed both times.
All right, so here's the thing. It did better than that Romanian 7.62 by 39 gun, but I don't think it's because it was Romanian. I think it was because it was a 7.62 by 39 gun. We saw a little bit of difference here. I think both of this gun and obviously the Valmet, the dust cover seals up a little tighter than it did on that Romanian gun.
Yeah.
And I think the fit and finish, if there is such a thing on an AK, of the dust cover safety and the way it relates to the receiver and the bolt carrier makes a difference. And this is a little tighter than it was on the Romanian gun, and the Valmet is extremely tight compared to this gun. So once again, we learned the same lesson we've learned over and over and over again. It's not about if mud gets into the gun, will it work? It's if, can you prevent the mud from getting into the gun?
Right, once it gets in, it will fail.
Yes.
One way or another. And we did see a little bit of a different failure mode on these. With mud getting into the locking lugs in the chamber, killing it, which that will kill it on any gun. Where on the Romanian, much faster, we got enough mud to induce enough friction on the bolt carrier to prevent it from cycling.
Exactly, and that's probably because of that fit and finish or the clearances between the safety, the dust cover, and the bolt carrier group. I think on the Romanian gun, we got some dirt in this action here, and that's what was retarding the bolt in its cycling path. People thought it was a weak spring. I don't think it's a weak spring. I think it was just getting retarded by dirt.
Yeah.
Since less of it got in, actually, now that we say that.
Oh yeah, we can take a look, can't we?
Yeah, see? Look at that.
Almost none got in the back.
Nothing got in the rear. Very little inside the actual dust cover, if you look here. So that's what that was. It wasn't the spring on the Romanian gun, it was just that it allowed more of it to get into the rear of the action beneath the bolt carrier group.
Yeah.
But so we got a couple extra rounds out of this before the Romanian gun died, but once the dirt got in here with wet mud, once it got into this action here, we were done. And both guns, a 545 and a 556, failed identically.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
It was interesting. Neither one would go into complete battery, and in a couple of situations, even though I pulled the mag and ran the action, I couldn't get the round was stuck in the chamber.
Right.
So I think some of the mud actually got onto the round or into the chamber itself.
Yep, I agree.
But interesting that 2 small bore AK variants both failed the same way.
I suspect if the Romanian had been able to survive as long, it would have had that same issue.
Probably, but we didn't get there. Now with the Romanian though, we were able to consistently shove it into battery by hitting it with my palm.
That's true.
I couldn't do that with this. Hitting this was no go.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Now, hitting it was like hitting a rock wall. It wasn't moving into battery. So I'm not going to call this a failure. I think this did fairly well.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised. I thought it would basically have the exact same performance as the Romanian gun.
So it was better than the Romanian.
It was.
But it still wasn't stellar.
Yeah.
We've had guns that have done better. The ARs
yeah.
did better. The ARs, frankly, just succeed.
Yep.
The Luger did really well. The 70L did really well. Although the AKs did this. The AK74 and the Valmet, I would say, did admirably.
Yeah. Yeah, anything that survives more than 1 or 2 rounds with that is pretty darn good.
And honestly, even the AKM from the Romanian wasn't a complete failure. The gun continued to work in an almost manual fashion. But we did something different we didn't do with the Romanian, which was let it dry.
Right.
And I think that puts us into an interesting situation in which wet mud and dry dirt is a different problem.
Very much.
Which
I wonder,
means,
what about sand?
I wonder what about sand. You know, maybe it's time to move into sand tests.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, we might. Maybe let's think about it.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't know. Bring it home.
All right. If you enjoyed this content and own a Valmet, don't butt stroke it to clear malfunctions.
Yeah, you know what? Before we take that home, that's an interesting point. You know, this triangle, I love these triangle folders. These things are fantastic. They really are. This is the Russian hammer type of a gun. I mean, this thing is built to survive a blast, an IED, still beat a wall open, beat a door open with it, beat a person with it, right? The Valmet, you strictly hit the ground a couple times and it literally shattered like glass.
It certainly looks like it, yeah.
In our last Q&A, someone asked the question, do you think that wood still has an application in the modern world?
Yes, wood is awesome.
And my answer was no, except for aesthetics. And you said maybe. Does this change your mind?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. All right. Anyways, so
if you happen to have a spare Valmet stock, hook me up, send me an email. If you enjoyed this, do check out our Patreon page. Obviously, not everyone is in a position to do that. We totally get it. If you can't, just share the videos with your friends, subscribe on YouTube and Full30, and we appreciate you watching.
thanks for watching.
Help me, Varustalika! You're my only hope!